Hey guys, thanks for joining Learn to Play. My name is Lance, and today we're going to take a look at Samurai Spirit. This is a game that was put out by FunForge. It's a 2 to 7 player, fully cooperative board game that takes roughly half an hour to 45 minutes to play, depending upon the player's skill levels. In it, each player is going to play a powerful samurai that's trying to protect a village from a raider attack. So let's head to the table and I'll teach you how to play. Alright, so at the beginning of the game, each player will choose a samurai to play as. In games where there's only a couple players, you can play multiple samurais if you choose. On each samurai has a human side and an animal side, but at the beginning of the game, you're going to be playing on the human side. Each samurai has a battle track where they're going to place a meeple at the very top on the 0 spot. And each samurai will have one area that's highlighted, and that's going to be the exact area if they reach on with their meeple, where they'll activate their Kai ability, which we'll cover a little bit more later. On the top of each samurai's card, they have their own special ability that they can use during their turn. And there's a token that we placed on there as well when they choose to support another samurai. And on the side here, you have the samurai's defensive areas, the 3 areas that they need to defend during each round. And we'll cover that a little bit more in the player's turns. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the Raider cards. So at the top of each card, you're going to have the Raider's attack value. On the other side of the card, you may have a picture of a hat, doll, or house. Some Raiders will not. And with those images, each samurai can defend one of each of those images during a round. On the bottom of the card, some of them will have a black spot with a picture. That is the Raider's battle penalty if that's the top Raider in the attack line, which we'll go through more later. And then on the other side of the card, some of the Raider cards will have flames on the other corner, and we'll cover those more in the intruder step when each round concludes. Alright, so now we're going to cover board setup. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and put out the farmsteads in each one of the farm spots. Then you're going to put out the 3 families. And then you're going to put out barricades equal to the number of players, plus 2. And it doesn't matter where you put those along those areas. It can go anywhere. So if we're going to go ahead and say we're playing a 3-player game, so we have a total of 5 barricades. Then you're going to put out the health tokens. And then finally you're going to go ahead and grab your Raider deck, go through it and separate all the cards and take out the 5 value cards, which are your lieutenants, and your 6 value cards, which are your bosses. Those will get added in later on. Once you've done that, you'll only have 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s in there. Go ahead and shuffle those up, and then draw out the number of cards equal to the number of players times 7. So with us playing a 3-player game, we'll count out 21 cards. Once we have that, we're going to go ahead and put them on the side, which will be the Raider stack here. On the top you have the intruder stack, which we'll go over a little bit later, and then on this side you have the discard pile. From this point you're ready to start the game. Alright, so the last thing we have to do before we're ready to start the game is to determine who the first player is. And the book talks about this being a random thing, so the way that I found is easiest is to go ahead and take each one of the samurai's tokens that is currently being played, shuffle them up, and have someone draw one randomly, and that'll be the starting player. Alright, so in Samurai Spirit, the object of the game is to make it through 3 rounds, where each round the samurai are going to go through the Raider stack, and they have to have at the end of the round at least 1 family and 1 farmstead to continue to the next round. If they've made it through all 3 rounds and there's at least 1 family and 1 farmstead left, then they have won the game. Alright, so the next thing I'd like to take a look at are the different ways that a samurai can take wounds. So the first way is if a Raider is in the samurai's battle track side and he has the wounds battle penalty with him. So at the start of this samurai's turn, if he has this card with the battle penalty on it, he would take 1 wound from this result. The other way that he can take a wound is if a Raider has a battle penalty that cannot be applied. So let's say, for example, that this samurai had passed or been knocked out the previous turn, so that he can't do anything else this round. And with this penalty, it would require the top raider card to be dealt to this samurai, and he would have to fight it. But since he has been knocked out already or passed, then he cannot take that, and so this battle penalty will not apply, in which case then you would take a wound instead. So anytime a battle penalty cannot be applied, then you would take a wound. When a samurai has taken 2 wounds, then his card is flipped over to his animal side. His battle track has been readjusted, and then when a samurai takes 2 wounds on the animal side, he has been eliminated from the game, and the game is lost. That is one of the losing conditions for the game, is if a samurai has been killed. Alright, so during each samurai's turn, they must perform one action, and they have 3 different options to choose from. Before we get into that, the one other thing that you must do at the beginning of each samurai's turn, if they have any raiders in their battle line, they will look at the raider that's on the top of their battle line. If he has a battle penalty, then they must apply that value first before they perform their action. From there, then we can choose one of the 3 actions that we can perform. So the first option we have is to fight a raider. So you take the top card of the raider stack and flip it over. And then from there you have 2 options. You can choose to confront the raider and fight him and move him to your battle line. And then you would add his value to any other raiders that are in your line already and adjust your meeple accordingly. So with him being a 2, we'd move it to the 2. If during the round you have more raiders in your battle line and you happen to go and land on the value that's highlighted, then you would immediately activate your Kai ability, and then the bottom raider of that stack would be removed and added to the discard pile, and then you would readjust your battle track score. If you happen to go over and land on the flame, then you would immediately remove a barricade from the town, and then during your next turn, if you're still over, you must pass, and you won't be able to do anything for the remainder of the round. But you also won't take any more damage or apply any more effects after you've passed. So the second option a samurai has is he can choose to support his fellow samurai by giving one of them his support token, which will allow that samurai to use his talents along with the one that he has. Whether he chooses to use it or not, at the end of that samurai's turn, the support token will be moved back. And when you choose to support with a samurai, you must take the top card of the raider stack and without looking at it, add it to the intruder stack. And then the last option that the samurai has to choose from is the pass option, which we've already kind of talked about. If his meeple is on the flame, then he must choose to pass. Or during his turn, if he's defended all 3 spaces and he's worried about going over that line and burning a barricade, he can choose to pass voluntarily. In which case, like I said, he won't take any more damage and he won't suffer any more penalties from the raiders in the following turns until the round is over. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the end of round conditions. So the first one is if the samurai have gone through the complete raider stack. The second is if all of the samurai have passed in that round. If they have done that and there's any cards left in the raider stack, then those cards are moved to the intruder stack. Once they're done with that, then for each samurai you'll go through. If they have not defended a hat, then they will take a wound. For each samurai that hasn't defended a farm, then you would remove 1 farm token at random. And the same for families. If any samurai has not defended a family, then you would remove 1 of the families at random. Once you're done with that, then you would reveal each family that's left, and you will receive a bonus for each of those families. So 1 would be to heal a random wound, 1 is to add a barricade, and 1 is to remove an intruder from the intruder stack. Once you're done with that, then you'll go ahead and flip over each card in the intruder stack. So we'll go ahead and throw a couple up there just so you can see. So, and then for each card you flip over that has the flames on this side, you would remove 1 barricade. If you're out of barricades, then you would remove 1 farm instead. And if you're out of farmsteads, then you would go to families. Once you're done with that, as long as there's at least one farmstead and one family remaining, then you can move on to the next round. During the next round, or round 2, you would take one lieutenant card for each samurai that is being played and shuffle them randomly into the raider stack. And during the third round, the same thing is done, but this time with the bosses, which are the number 6 guys. And if this is the completion of the third round and you have one farm and one family, then you have won the game.